Nothing beats the fresh, zesty flavor of a homemade lemon loaf. Soft, moist, and bursting with citrus goodness. Whether you're looking for the perfect tea time treat or a light, flavorful dessert, this easy lemon loaf is a must try. We will be using simple ingredients like fresh lemon puree, flour, eggs, and a natural sweetener to create a delicious loaf that's both fluffy and rich in flavor. Plus, I'll show you how to make a simple lemon glaze for an extra touch of sweetness. Also stick around, for I'm going to show you a hack on how to make sure your parchment paper sticks perfectly well on your baking tin. Begin by preheating your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Before we start, let's go over the ingredients you'll need for this delicious lemon loaf. First, we have monk fruit sweetener, or you can use granulated white sugar. Next, baking powder. We will also need all-purpose flour, which forms the base of our batter. For moisture, we have vegetable oil. This keeps the loaf soft and tender. A touch of sea salt to help balance the flavors. Next, eggs, which will add structure and richness to our loaf. And of course, the star of the recipe, a whole lemon. We'll be blending it into a fresh lemon puree for a bold citrus flavor. So grab your ingredients and let's get baking. Clean your lemon and put it together with water in a blender and blend it till smooth. Once blended, strain the mixture to remove any pulp and set it aside. This puree will give our loaf an intense lemon flavor without any bitterness. We did not remove anything from it. In a large mixing bowl, combine 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 cup of monk fruit sweetener or granulated sugar, and half a teaspoon of sea salt. I always prefer measuring my dry ingredients with a scale for accuracy and consistency in how the loaf will come out at the end of baking. Once you're done measuring your dry ingredients, whisk everything together until well combined. For a detailed recipe, kindly check the description box down below for a link to the website. In a separate bowl, crack your eggs, then add 1 cup of freshly made lemon puree, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, then whisk them until smooth. You might be wondering why we are making this loaf without regular sugar. Instead, we are using monk fruit sweetener, a natural zero-calorie alternative to sugar. Monk fruit is derived from a small melon-like fruit, and it is known for its intense sweetness without the added carbs or spikes in blood sugar. It's a great option if you're looking for a lighter, healthier way to enjoy this delicious lemon loaf while still getting that perfect balance of sweetness. Of course, if you prefer, you can always use regular granulated sugar. Now, pour the wet ingredient into the dry ingredients. Use a spatula, preferably, to gently mix until everything is well incorporated. Be careful not to overmix, because this helps keep the loaf light and fluffy. Now, let me show you how to line the loaf pan with the hack I promised I was going to show you. First, cut out a parchment paper that can fit in the baking tin that you're using. As is, you'll notice that when you put it inside your baking tin, it will not hold up. You'll need some glue, quote unquote, to make it holding. So what I normally do to make sure that I don't have to use all my hands in holding it to secure it, as I'm putting the batter, I put it under running water. That is the hack. Put it under running water to wet it a little bit, so that when you place it inside your tin, it is not coming out, it is holding shape, and thus you're able to pour your batter securely with no worries. As you can see here, I've already put some water on it and it is holding up well, and I don't have to keep holding it when I'm pouring the batter. Next, pour the batter into your prepared loaf pan, spreading it evenly. Once done, remember to tap the baking tin on the counter so that any air pockets can be filled in with the batter before you start baking. Bake at 180 degrees Celsius for 60 to 70 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. If you love an extra burst of lemon flavor, you can make a simple glaze by just mixing a cup of icing sugar with at least 3 to 5 teaspoons of lemon puree until smooth. Remember, this is totally optional, especially if you want to keep it healthy. This is the consistency we are looking for when you're making that glaze, for it to be easy to spread. Next up, cut a lemon, a whole lemon. You'll need probably half of it into slices. This is also optional, but it makes up for a good presentation of the cake once baked, and especially when you want to present it as a dessert. Just make sure your slices are as thin as you can possibly cut them, and they'll be good to go. Once your loaf is baked, let the loaf cool in a pan for 5 minutes before transferring it onto a wire rack to cool completely. Remember to test it with a skewer to see how well it is baked. Then remove it from the baking tin and place it on the wire rack to continue cooling completely. You can remove the parchment paper and keep it below the cooling rack. This will help, especially when you're drizzling the glaze, not to make your counter messy. However, remember you can enjoy it as it is. Once it is completely cooled, it's time for us to drizzle the lemon glaze on top, as well as put on the slices of the lemon on top of the loaf. And there you have it, a beautifully moist, zesty lemon loaf that's perfect for breakfast, tea time, or a sweet treat any time of the day. Disclaimer, I know you're gonna find this recipe so amazing. Remember not to overindulge, and especially when you're using granulated white sugar. If you loved this recipe, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more easy and delicious kitchen creations. See you on the next one.